interpretive reading. So to help us with the evaluation there, I'm going to call on Graeme to give the interpretive reading evaluation for Enias. Please help me out.
Enias, I'm not qualified to evaluate the speech. I've got my CC and no further, but I will attempt to give my best interpretation of your interesting speech. So just to the educational piece, this is one of the 15 manuals. You can select when you get through those 10. There are 5 speeches in 15 different manuals, and this is one called interpretive reading, but you can get into storytelling. So these you can pick either genres that you're no good at and want to work on, or really good at and want to polish. Interpersonal communication, entertaining speaker, speak to inform, technical presentations, that sounds like something we all need to do here. Persuasive speaking, talking to your boss. Communicating on video, yes. Special occasion speeches, that's good. We're all going to speak at somebody's wedding, I'm sure, at some point. Speeches by management, do that to your boss. Speciality speeches, facilitating discussion, that's really one thing we should all do. Public relations, yes. Humorously speaking, that one's difficult for me. Professional speaker, those are really good. So that's the kind of journey you can go on. So, right, in my notes.
So just so can I just make a quick yes, on the advanced, then you choose 2 of those. So it's another 10 speeches for advanced.
10 after that silver, and then 10.
So it's 10, 10, and 10. So eventually, you eventually for completion is 40. I think there's 44 eventually, isn't it? Because there's an extra couple.
I actually haven't counted.
There's some leadership ones.
Anyway, can I have mine?
Absolutely, you can have it back, Graeme.
Thank you, Enias, for. I did Julius Caesar as one of my set works at school, and I think he represents a very, if you're into history, a very interesting piece of leadership history, if it's a particular genre that you follow. And military leaders are certainly one of those styles of leaders that are used a lot in business. So I think it's a very interesting choice of a topic. I was asked to try and answer a number of questions in your evaluation. So was the theme understandable and the storyline clear? Now as I said, I know a reasonable amount about Caesar, having studied a bit about him and having done Julius Caesar as one of my set works at school, but I felt the audience may have been a little bit lost in terms of the context of what the story was going to be about. I made the same, I made an observation on your behalf. Did people feel a little bit lost about what the story was about? Okay. To what degree did the speaker achieve the author's purpose in projecting the meaning and emotions of the message? The observation that the piece was quite factual. And a highly factual piece inherently has a lower emotional content, which makes it sometimes difficult then to use those emotions in the story. I saw the purpose as all about, it's a very metaphorical message. A metaphor is a powerful way to work with a speech. So who could tell me what the metaphor of the story was? Okay.
Yeah.
Any other observations on what the metaphor of the story was? What's the story about? Not about Julius either.
What is in the moment?
Okay, carpe diem. It's about indecision. And why do I use the term metaphor? What does a metaphor mean? It's essentially there's another hidden message, and essentially to resonate with you. And this is a message that particularly resonates with me because I am often indecisive, and therefore it talks straight. Metaphor goes beyond the logic and goes straight into your subconscious. That's why metaphors are powerful. So how did the speaker emphasize the words which are important in revealing the narrative's meaning and emotions? So because it's a highly factual piece, could have used more opportunity to separate the parts of the reading where somebody else is speaking. So the key points in the story, what your story is, so I picked up this, where it's in quotes, somebody else is speaking. in your rendition, I didn't pick that up at all. So in order to, you need to separate the author telling the story from the character speaking. And that is use of pause to very clearly separate, or when I listen to audiobooks, they often say, and I quote. That's not in the text. Okay, in order to separate, so it depends on, so for example, when Caesar is speaking, he makes an immortal comment to a friend, pause, and then he uses a lot more body language. Veni, vidi, vici, like you stand on stage. So I didn't pick up some of those separations between the author talking about Caesar and Caesar talking. Points there. Yes, I talked about the transitions and quoting and separating the two. Was the speaker able to establish and maintain eye contact with the audience? A very specific question, because you're dealing with a read text, and it talks to how good you are at shifting between the read text and engaging with the audience. So what my observations there are is that this is a copy from a book, which means you've copied it that way, and the text is quite small. What you could have done is copied each page, so that each page was that size, in which case it could have sat here. Because the reading was up here, which immediately puts a barrier. It gives you the comfort that it's right in front of you, you don't lose your way, but it did put a barrier between you and the audience. The spontaneity came to, I think there were opportunities in the speech, particularly when you're separating some of those change points in the story to slow down, pause, change the pace and change the tone. Summary. You're a good speaker. With this particular topic, you chose quite a difficult passage, I think, for the context of this assignment, but that doesn't mean it was inappropriate. It was quite factual, and had a metaphorical message with a lower emotional content, which makes it difficult to change pace and energy in the speech. The summary points: slow down a bit, use some pauses, clearly separate those parts where the story is being told by the reader, and that's you talking, with the character talking inside the story. I said you can use pause, and I quote, use a different accent or voice, if that's not an easy one for most people. And as you slow down, a number of these words need to be enunciated a bit more carefully. Some of your words ran into each other, and I had to listen quite hard to speak. But thank you very much. It's lovely to sit and listen to somebody who is doing an advanced speech, and I'm now going to get some of the manuals out and start doing that. I keep promising myself, I bought all of those, so I congratulate you on your journey, and I thank you for the opportunity to evaluate you.